Thank God it's Friday. Pleasant morning to you on the Break of Dawn Papers Review on your latter station this morning. We hope that you're already having a fantastic morning. It is the 28th of July, 2023. My name is Adenike Ademuago.
And I'm GBOLABO Famous School. Good morning, Nike.
Good morning, GBOLABO. All right, as always, we have the front pages. We're going to be starting from the Nation newspaper. And this one right here, the first story, this one says, JAMB top scorer gets 2.5 million naira. Away from that, court strikes out motion to detain Emefiele. And we also find Tinubu's list of ministerial nominees in line with expectations. Shelve strike plan, police caution labour. The police in Lagos have urged the NLC to shelve the planned protest. And presidency, why Tinubu picked Wike, El-Rufai, others. U.S. pledges support to Bazoum after coup. Save Southeast from sit-at-home. Uzodinma urges security agency. And you can also find right here, VP Shetima meets Putin at Russia-Africa summit. Federal government uses effective use of indigenous languages. And Peter Obi didn't take pictures with pro-Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa. Rema cancels Atlanta concert over alleged disrespect. That's on the entertainment side. And Wase Betara, others get committee chairmanship. Court dismisses DSS application to hold Emefiele for another 14 days. Insecurity reps want IG to provide government officials with security in Southeast. Super Falcons celebrate defeat of Australia, and 4 ex-governors make Tinubu's ministerial list. And some more stories still on the Nation. We can find ECOWAS condemns military takeover in Niger. Nigeria, best country in the world, assists at Oshoala. On that one, I will walk naked if Obi wins at tribunal. That's from Charlie Boy. And finally, on the Nation, or from the Nation, Kaduna Governor Sani swears in 14 commissioners. All right, and we move to the Punch newspaper.
All right, I actually have the GBOLABO&DENIKE. All right, we'll move over now to the GBOLABO this morning. There are also some top stories here on the GBOLABO. This says, Tinubu to Nigerians, I understand what you're going through. Be patient a little more. Bakuchua, I was under immunity when I made comment on influencing wives' decisions. They can't walk anywhere. Baja explains why Tinubu didn't assign portfolios to ministerial nominees. We also have the school aircraft conveying Nigerian pilgrims trapped in Niger, says Max Air. And presidential aspirant Nazim Bank Director Youngest nominee 7 women on Tinubu's ministerial list. Abbas names chairs of standing committees. Faleke Bichi made list. Lagos, Kano, Adamawa, 11 states without any ministerial nominees. We also have the school. Niger soldiers warns against foreign intervention, says Bazoum is fine. And of course, we have a couple more here on the GBOLABO this morning. Ibori's daughter, El-Rufai's son, 5 children of ex-governors named chairs of reps committees. And this is Fortune News, and the Fortune News is saying Shetima meets Putin at Russia-Africa summit. North Central Group backs Ganduje for APC chairmanship, says he's distinguished party man. All right, we'll take just 2 more, and this says against Aliu Lukman wants Tinubu APC against making Ganduje national chairman. And of course, the last one here says NSAS Sanwo-Olu asks to suspend mass burial for victims' families to identify corpses.
All right, we take a look at the Punch. Nigeria, Russia pledge closer ties. Diphtheria, 130 hospitalized in Kano. States begin immunization. CAC to delist 100,000 companies from database. Oshoala shirtless celebration sparks mixed reactions. Reduce government borrowing from CBN World Bank, tells Nigeria. Robberies, Lagos CP launches Operation Flush after Punch report. How we plotted Australia's fall. Falcons. UN halt humanitarian operations. US, France condemn Niger coup. Subsidy removal. Tinubu begs Nigerians to preserve more. My pep talk changes gave Falcons Australia win. That's from Waldron. And some more stories from the Punch. CSO lawyer tackle Lagos over street hawkers arrest. Police arraigned 2 for stealing 6 million naira wood. All right, and we're still on the Punch newspaper. Delta chief arrested for defiling teenage neighbor. Hoodlums steal newborn from Bauchi nursing mother's home. Family demands justice as NDLEA men killed 2 in Lagos. And finally, from the Punch, police hunt suspects as abducted Rivers journalist regains freedom.
All right, over to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. There are also other top stories there. 11 states to wait as Tinubu sends 28 nominees to Senate for confirmation. More interesting headlines here, right? Still on the Vanguard. Daylight robbery. Lagos hotspot, now robbers' den. Ministerial list, new ministers may be created, says Bajabiamila. And still on the Vanguard, we're also looking at all the latest news. Why I declined Adeleke's board chairman's appointment, Aregbe Shola's aide. And of course, more here says Oluwo to Tinubu, no coup must survive under your watch. All right, UNWTO appoints Lai Mohammed as SA to Secretary General. And ECPA writes EU-US seeks visa ban on Governor Mba. And more stories says Commissioner's convoy attack, OT visits Ariaria, international market, orders opening. And more stories says Abbas appoints Ugo Chinyere chair, petroleum resources downstream. And more stories, 11 states. All right, we have that earlier. And we also take this. Ganduje's chairmanship will lead APC to damnation, says ex-vice chair. And still on the Vanguard, why I declined Adeleke's board chair. All right, I think we had that too earlier. Citadel open business from Monday or risk shuts down. Imo government tells traders. And of course, before we leave the Vanguard, let's see if we could pick some more. And this says bandits kill officer, 5 soldiers, policeman, 20 vigilantes in Zamfara ambush. All right, we'll take 2 more. Why Adire symbolizes national pride. Olori Ogunwusi is saying that. And the last one here says NPA decries extortion points along port access road.
All right, the Premium Times, the first story here, World Hepatitis Day 2023. Despite vaccine availability, disease remains threat in Nigeria. And moving away from that, you can find Reps direct NNPC Limited to suspend OVH acquisition probe deal. Australia 2, Nigeria 3, player ratings. Oshoala sets record. Court rejects SSS request to elongate Emefiele's detention. Abbas increases House Standing Committee, names Wase Faleke. And we also find Nigeria Super Falcons defeat Australia in Women's World Cup. Tinubu nominates 28 ministers, El-Rufai, Wike, Adelabo included. And still on the Premium Times paper, ex-governors Ibori, El-Rufai, Akala's children named Reps Committee chairpersons. WAGIC 2023 journalism experts outline challenges, innovative trends in media. Northern petrol marketers to embark on strike over 250 billion naira unpaid subsidy. Ministerial nominees, Senate promises through thorough screening commences exercise Monday. My political enemies colluding with ICPC, SSS to harass me, Bokachua tells court. And finally, as we go on that first break on the show this morning, Zulum orders crackdown on criminal gang Malians. We go on our break. We'll be back.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Tí o bá wà lórí nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì àrídájú, ìyẹn Naija Confirm wo ẹ̀bùn 1,000 naira ń dúró dè ọ́. O tún ní àǹfààní láti gba èlé ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀rún lórí èyíkéyìí rìsáàjì tí o bá ṣe. Àníkún dátà lọ́nà 100 fún oṣù 6 àti ìlọ́po méjì dátà lórí rìsáàjì àkọ́kọ́ rẹ ní oṣù òpó. Ìyẹn gangan ni Nine Confirm látọ̀dọ̀ Nine Mobile tí ó yọrantí. Ra síìmù tuntun lónìí tàbí kí o tẹ *1400# lórí ẹ̀rọ alágbèéká rẹ. Nine Mobile wà níbí fún ọ, wà níbí fún Naija.
Hello? Hello? Can anyone hear me? I'm in Biggie's world, where it seems like multiple stars are aligned for the ultimate showdown. I have to go. I have to go. Biggie is calling.
It's the return of your faves in the first ever Big Brother Ninja All-Stars. Get ready for Edge of Your Seat drama, showing 24/7 on DSTV channel 198 and GoTV channel 49. Get and stay connected.
Big Brother Niger All-Stars is proudly sponsored by MoneyPoint, powering dreams in association with HFM, online trading at its finest.
Drink that, don't go for it. Yeah. Life na highway, me I just stay for my lane. Full speed ahead, oh, no limit in my way. God don't make them my back, nourishment to give me spark. So I go shine my shine and I will go for it. Go, go, no limits, go for it. Go, go, drink that, don't go for it.
Connection is very important. Keep it strong at home or on the go with INT'L Home Broadband Internet devices. Get the 10,000 Naira or the 20,000 Naira router that gives you 30 gigabytes and 100 gigabyte data instantly. Or the 5,000 Naira MiFi and the 7,500 Naira MiFi that gives you 5 gigabytes and 30 gigabytes instantly. Hurry to the nearest INT'L shop or visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to get started.
INT'L, a reason to imagine.
All right, I don't blame you. It's like say work there. I go there as they receive this kind of insult. Hey, no, maybe this.
My brother, now you and the matter not good at all. It good make man get work when they do. Now why people wey sabi something they go register for Max Drive? Kia.
Max Drive, okay?
Yes, so Max Drive ready give you Okada or Keke where you go take begin work with only 6,000 Naira with it. As you begin do the work, now so you go dey pay small until the Okada or Keke become your own. You go even dey enjoy health insurance and other better things them for inside. So therefore, if you don't ready, send *347*40*60# on top your phone or call 0810-333-9575. Make you sabi how you fit do. Collect your own Max Okada or Keke. Max Drive. It's sure for you.
Do you know who I am? Sure. You know, ask question. I be Tornado, a force of nature, the long-range assassin, the MVP, the intercept, the hat-trick architect.
Nobody does it better.
I am the breathtaking, game-changing left corner cannonball.
Fantastic goal!
So, make you sabi my name, because from the field to your feet to the Hall of Fame, the game where you know fit miss, one shelle like this so. Know her name, know her game. Stream the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup live from SuperSport on Showmax Pro.
Right. So guys, this is the plan. We go in at sunrise and we attack without mercy. Glow World shops won't see us coming. Taye, you are to make sure we get all the best phones, all right?
Yes, boss.
Lara, you have to make sure that we don't miss the 18 gigabyte bonus deals for 6 months.
Understood, sir.
Chigozie, your job is to draw up the payment plan. Codename, pay small. Chigozie, are you sleeping? Chigozie.
Relax. There's enough time for you to get your preferred smartphones and enjoy sweet deals at Glow World. Walk into any Glow World shop, your one-stop shop for devices and gadgets, and get 18 gigabytes bonus data when you buy your phone, which you can pay for at your convenience.
Glow Unlimited.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Alright, you're welcome back. You're still on to the Break It Down Papers review here on 32 FM 94.9. And of course, we're going into the analysis proper this morning. We already have Professor Oluojedokun with us in the studios. My name is Bolabo in Moscow.
And I'm Adenike Ademuagon. Good morning, Professor Oluojedokun.
Yes, top of the day to you.
Good morning, Prof.
Yeah.
All right, so the Super Falcons yesterday was victory. I caught a video online of the celebration, and they defeated Australia 3-2 at the Brisbane Stadium. And this is the first win of Nigeria in the competition and the fifth win in the history of the Women's World Cup. There are some speculations that, well, we're happy for this and we want them to go really, really far. This is a very, very good win. But something about the money, or would I say the monies that these people are supposed to be getting is maybe, when I use the word siphoned, do you think that this in any way is going to affect their motivation?
Well, first and foremost, if it was going to affect their motivation, I think it would have already. I think we have to first and foremost congratulate them because they're the only African team that has won so far. Well, the other match is going on, so that might have changed. But of course, in the long term, you must ask the question whether that is going to affect their payments. There's a guy called Ian Wright. He's an Arsenal legend. He's weighed in. He said that they should pay them the money. They should pay them what's appropriate to them, and not the peanuts, which some people are suggesting they had been paid. And you have to ask the question, when people go to represent us, should it be the officials should be getting more than them? Or should it be the actual people in the arena, the people that get their hands dirty, get their feet bloodied, you understand? Those are the people that should really be rewarded. So I don't know when this old tactic or all this strategy of paying the officials the enormous amount. You have to ask the question, what are the officials doing? So let's hope this doesn't dampen the enthusiasm of these Falcons. Let them go all the way and let them shine. And I think yesterday's match was remarkable because they came from behind. And of course, we saw the celebration of Osola. Is that what she's called?
Oswala.
Yes. All right, Prof, let's also look at the ministerial list. There are a lot of hopes being dashed, and many people were disappointed, so to say. They actually expected more from the ministerial list that was sent by the president. But now there is also a belief that there's going to be a second batch, and states like Lagos and some northern states were not represented. But I'm thinking that, is it a federal character thing for our ministerial list, or do we look beyond that? Because it appears that states become agitated when they don't have any representative when it comes to cabinet member of the president.
Let's be very clear that there's a constitutional responsibility or constitutional provision that all states, you understand, should have a minister. That's not been amended as far as I'm aware. So I'm sure that there's still an expectation that the 10 or so or 9 or so vacancies or whatever it's called will be filled. I think in the first instance, what they've tried to do is balance all the, what do they call those zones? They call it geopolitical zones. Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth. So they balance that. But of course, many states won't be satisfied. If you look at the states where there have not been any nominees, there's some contention. There's Kano, and there's some other states where there are some issues that need to be resolved. So I'm sure they will get their minister. But I ask the question, if they say within 60 days you have to present nominees, does it mean the entire nominees? Or does it mean just some of the nominees? If it means the entire nominees, then of course they run foul of the Constitution. But if it says just part of the nominees, then of course they are in line.
Should Wike and Erufai be involved in that particular ministerial nominee?
Well, left to me, I would have preferred die-in-the-wool technocrats, those that can get things done. But I think it's using this list, to balance, to create some political balance, some reward, some, carrot.
You don't think there's some repayment going on here? You worked for me, I give you this.
Well, that's why I use the expression carrot. So, of course, there's something like that. And I'm not sure that the president wants to use the cabinet to really govern. I think he wants to use the special advisors, the kitchen cabinet, the ASOROC staff to actually drive the government forward. And, of course, use these ministers as sort of to give himself political cover and political coverage.
All right, so let's take a look at another story right here. The Northern Independent Petroleum Marketers Forum said its members would embark on a strike if the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority fails to pay them over 250 billion outstanding bridging claims. How did we get to this point of having a 250 billion naira outstanding bridging claims? You want to give your reactions to that, Prof?
Well, there's always been an opaqueness, a lack of accountability and transparency. And that's why sometimes we don't really know who is owing who. In fact, there's some people debating that the subsidy arrangement is a monumental scam. I don't necessarily agree. But of course, what you expect is that people get their payments as it when due, not 6 months later or not a year later. It used to happen before, and I think that was resolved. Should they go on strike? I don't think so, because there will be incalculable damage being done to the economy. But the government should sit down with them, resolve it, verify their claims, and pay them what is owed or what is due. I think if you enter into a contract with people, then you have to fulfill the terms of those contracts.
All right, court throws out DSS application for extension of Emefiele's incarceration by another 14 days. Now we'll talk about instances of you have a case in court and prosecutors are just doing their investigation and they've taken a particular suspect to court. Does it make any sense that you have an accused person, you've not concluded investigations, and you file charges and you say don't grant that person bail because the person will interfere with the course of investigation? Does it make any sense?
Normally, if the crimes are so heinous and so serious, that sometimes when you want to keep a suspect away from the public because you don't want them to influence, you don't want them to impact, you don't want them to obstruct. So there are instances when that is called for, but you do it in order. You apply to the court. You don't just do it willy-nilly. The problem with DSS, you understand, is that they took him into custody, you understand, before this so-called renewal application was made. The man ought to have been released. It's quite obvious or quite evident that they've not got their acts together. The ducks are not in a row yet. And that's why they're just messing around, faffing around. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, the court has done the right thing in denying the, what's it called?
The ex parte application.
Yes, ex parte application. And they should release him. They should release him. There's egg on their faces, of course. But Emefiele should be released, subject to bail, you understand, conditions and so on and so forth. And if in future they find the charges and they've got their act together, then he can be rearrested and he can be charged. Emefiele, as far as I'm concerned, he ain't going anywhere.
All right, the federal government has said the planned strike by the NLC over the removal of fuel subsidy and its attendant hardship is in contempt of an order of the National Industrial Court barring it from proceeding with the action. Is this a way to, just, what's the word now? Is it guard them or I don't know the word to use. What do you think about this?
First and foremost, I'm not aware of any existing subsisting court order which says that NLC cannot go on strike. I think what they're trying to do is extrapolate from previous decisions that have been made, the ASU and some other parties from that point of view. But the point to note is that if they go on strike, it's going to be no work, no pay. That law has been established firmly, so they need to be aware of that. But I don't think NLC in itself is planning a long-term strike. They want to send a warning shot to the government. I think what the government better do is to sit down and negotiate with them from that point of view. If they don't want a strike, then the government, by its actions and by the steps it's taking, ought to respond. Borno State has responded. Some of the other states are responding. How long does it take to respond in an economy when people are suffering, when people cannot have square meals and so on and so forth? Why don't you respond now? And why don't you take the sting out of NLC? Why don't you preempt them by bringing about policies, sustainable policies where people can have a relief from the economic pressures that we're facing on a daily basis?
All right, we'll move to this South African paper, and I'm wondering the kind of news that comes out of Nigeria, especially within the continent itself. Jihadists intensify attacks, killing 32 in northeast Nigeria. And now I'm wondering how much more can the Tinubu government deal with this fundamentalist, because they've been there forever. And now you have instances of people saying that you can't negotiate with terrorists. And now the carrot and stick approach cannot work. How exactly can the Tinubu government deal with this? Because now the farmlands are all empty, the headers are having issues. So how then does he deal with this fundamentalist?
No, we've always thought that, I've always suggested that except you actually revamp the whole structure, our security architecture, we're going to have the same problems again, even if you change government, even if you change the chief of army staff or the inspector general of police. Of course, there's a place for talking. Of course, there's a place for negotiation. But we're not there yet. These are criminals, and they should be treated as such, and they should be pursued. You know, the intelligence gathering is one place where we've not been so strong. And part of it is we're hampered by the nature of the way that our police is set up. Very centralized police force, very centralized. So we need them to be decentralized, and we need the governors of the respective state to be able to take the responsibility for the security of their state. Maybe that would deal with some of the issues. And then, of course, in times of hardship, you understand, people are going to be prone to turn to some crime. No justification, but also you need to deal with some of those attendant issues causing social economic deprivation and so on.
All right, still speaking of hardship, President Bola Tinubu yesterday has urged Nigerians to persevere with his administration some more, saying he understands the pain that we are experiencing since the petrol subsidy discontinuance, and he's assuring that it's only for a while. It seems like he's really interested in allaying the fears of the people, but at the same time, things are really biting hard, and it seems like Nigerians just want that result right now.
At least he's talking, at least he's communicating, and I give him kudos for that. But beyond that, what is the kind of body language that is coming from its government? Have they cut down on frivolous expenses? Have they cut down on the motorcades? Have they cut down on the perks of office? Are they really showing that we're all in this together? What is the body language of the National Assembly? You saw that spectacle in the Senate, where they were making more or less like a joke, laughing when they were saying, let the poor breathe. I mean, as if that is funny at all. People are dying on a daily basis. So the government itself, if you want people to be patient, if you want people to bear with you, you must show as a government by example and by your policies and by what you do that we're all in it together. And I think that's the key thing missing here. Yes, it's communicating. Yes, it appears to care. But they must also show by their policies and by their actions and by symbolism that we're all in it together.
All right, let's go over to Lagos State now. Then the Apapa gridlock is something that anybody, I'm not going to say Lagosians, would want, as a matter of fact, to swallow, because it's always like it's tight all through. And now, looking at what the House of Representatives have actually come up with, revive Eastern Seaports to decongest Apapa. And now, is it coming at the right time? Because we're looking at the economic viability of Apapa itself to the federal government pause. And that particular road is a federal road, not the state government. And this has been on the front burner for a very long time. How can the Tinubu government, who is also coming from Lagos State, deal with these instances of opening up another seaport?
Well, I think it's inevitable that we need another seaport. I think it's congested. But I also think the major problem there is that when that Apapa port was built, particularly Tinkan, there was a train track that was supposed to run from it. There was a train supposed to take goods out. So not just by road. And somewhere along the line, someone cancelled that. That's part of the problem. If we had to train taking out goods.
Who is that someone? An administration of...
Some policy, yes, some administrator who felt that money was too much and took it out. And we're paying the price for that. So, of course, if they want to relieve the pressure on Apapa, you understand, then of course there needs to be an alternative. And of course you're going to need some investors, because the government ain't got the money to do it totally. You need some investors. So I think it makes sense. Even the Lekki, they're thinking, in fact, they've developed that to a certain extent. The problem with Lekki, for instance, is have you dealt with the traffic that will come from there? Have you provided alternative routes? So it's the key thing that it has to be done, but you have to be mindful of the fact that there's going to be a lot of disruption, continual disruption, until that happens.
All right, Prof, let's look at some parts of Ibadan that is currently being ravaged by flood. And some people say that August is the coldest time of the year, especially in this part of the world. And the rains are still upon us. We still have August, we still have September. And some people are now currently counting their losses as a result of the recent flood that ravaged some parts of the ancient city. What do you think we can do differently this time around? Because the truth is the Nigeria Meteorological Association or agency had cried out severally about this. People say we have a drainage problem in the state, and we haven't really done anything differently. Or I'm just not particularly saying that maybe we don't know about it, or maybe you know about it. But what do you think about this?
Well, first and foremost, I think our drains in this country, and in Ibadan in particular, are poor. There are areas that there are no drains. How can you build roads without drains? So that's the first problem. And that the drains that we have are filled with refuse, filled with what you call them, pure water sachets, bottles, nylon, cellophane bags, and so on and so forth. So there are two areas here. That's what the government must do and should do, which is, of course, ensure that we have the drains. The second is the responsibility, social responsibility of the citizens. I was traveling yesterday. My friend wouldn't like it. I was traveling yesterday, and I'm very meticulous. If I have refuse, I'll keep it in the car. And he saw maybe I wasn't looking. Oh, and what did he do? You understand? Some paper he threw out of the car. Of course, I was furious. You understand? People must take the responsibility, you understand, to ensure that our roads are clean. And until they do that, and of course, government also needs to provide refuge points so that when people have eaten their water or taken their pure water, they can just dispose of it very safely. So I think a combination of that. But having said that, the climate has changed. So even when we do these things, you understand, there's still going to be issues with flooding from that point of view. But the mitigating factors are the intervention of the government and our own intervention.
All right, we have to go on a break right now. When we return, we'll be here to take your reactions. Do stay with us.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
tí nine mobile network naija gangan bá yáyọ èrè ńlá ń dúró dè ọ́ nígbàkúgbà tí o bá nílò dátà sí láti wo sinimá tàbí gba oríṣiríṣi àjàbalẹ̀ eré ìdárayá nine mobile wà fún ọ pẹ̀lú 1,500 naira péré wàá jẹ ìgbádùn 8 gigabyte látọ̀dọ̀ nine mobile o tún lè fi 9.5 gigabyte ṣe ìfàjẹ pẹ̀lú 2,000 naira péré àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ darapọ̀ mọ́ nine mobile lónìí tàbí kí o tẹ star 301 hash láti yan dátà olówó pọ́kú tí ó ṣe gbẹ́kẹ̀lé nine mobile wà níbí fún ọ wà níbí fún naija.
Titi, I'm leaving now. Make sure you use this hypo bleach sachet to wash all the clothes, clean the bathroom, mop the floors, and
Mommy, one sachet for all this plenty work?
Yes, sir. Introducing the Hypo Bleach 200 ml bigger sachet. The bigger sachet you've been waiting for. Now you can do more disinfecting, whitening, and cleaning for just 100 naira.
Bigger 200 ml hypo sachet to do more housework.
It's here again! Christ Apostolic Church Okeado DCC Headquarters presents Ososami 2023, a yearly power revival that surely the Lord is in this place and I knew it not. Genesis chapter 28 verse 16b, coming up from the 15th June to 28th July 2023 by 5 p.m. daily at the church auditorium, where great ministers of God like Prophet Oluwalonimi Ojo David, Prophet Kehinde Adio from Lagos, Prophet Dr. Samuel Olukosi from Ofa, and the General Evangelist of Christ Apostolic Church Nigeria and overseas, Prophet Ezekiah Oluboyo Oladeji, shall be ministering to all and sundry through the power of the Lord Jesus Christ. Are you downcast? Your business is not moving forward? Your children are not breaking through? Pastor Dr. G.S. Dada de Okeado DCC Superintendent says, come and you shall truly and surely be liberated. Pastor Eso Oladele, President CS Nigeria and overseas. Jesus Christ is the Lord.
Do you know who I am? Sure. You know, ask question. I be Tornado, a force of nature, the long-range assassin, the MVP, the intercept, the hat-trick architect.
Nobody does it better.
I am the breathtaking, game-changing left corner cannonball.
Fantastic goal!
So, make you sabi my name, because from the field to your feet, to the Hall of Fame, the game where you know fit miss, one shelle like this so. Know her name, know her game. Stream the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup live from SuperSport on Showmax Pro.
There you are, riding in silence, both deep in thought. I bet you the driver think this ride shouldn't cost more, and you the passenger are sure you're overpaying. Never mind, let's just stay quiet. Or you can both download InDrive and agree on a fair price beforehand. InDrive, people driven. The InDrive online passenger transportation aggregator is not a taxi service. For more information, visit indrive.com.
We are all gathered here today to witness the joining of all 32 of you in blissful matrimony to Glow MiFi and Router. Do you, Wi-Fi enabled devices, take this Glow MiFi and Router as your lawful data plug?
Yes, we do!
Do you, Glow MiFi and Router, promise to be there in good times and in Sakba?
Yes, we do!
Now you may stay connected.
Enjoy a connected life with Glow MiFi and Router. Get 60 gigabytes data bonus when you buy a Glow MiFi and 180 gigabytes data bonus when you buy a Glow Router. And connect up to 32 Wi-Fi enabled devices. Available at Glow World shops nationwide.
Glow Unlimited.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
All right, we open the phone lines 0705 5000 949 and 0809 7000 949. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to everyone in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, Professor Jedoku. I'm about Sean Islam. You know, my take this morning has to do with the problem we're facing in this country. Nigeria problem is the major of Nigeria problem is leadership failure and systemic error. I've been saying this for a very long time. As a matter of fact, we lack good representation. Now, the issue of flooding in our state, God bless you, Professor Jedoku. I like your submission on it because we have a very good system that is working perfectly. I think this problem of flooding will reduce drastically. Some people will do things and go scot-free. No tangible punishment for their wrongdoing in the country, especially in our state. So that's our problem. May God gather us with that side. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you very much. 0705 5000 949 and 0809 7949. We're also live on Facebook. It is facebook.com/32FM 949 Ibadan. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Denike.
Good morning.
GBOLABO morning, Prof. Good morning. It's okay. First, Prof. Buhari asked us to persevere, that he understands what we're going through. A few months later, the wicked act of the CBN, then CBN president came in, where a lot of people suffered. I am taking this particular one too with a pinch of salt because I've not seen anything yet. Then on his ministerial list, I want to ask, Prof, you said something and I would like us to look at it. Remembering the previous government's senior ministers and the junior ministers' rivalry, do you think the ministers we have, who incidentally I will use the word the political head of such ministries, would actually want these wonderful special advisors whom you and I believe are super good people to actually interfere in their decisions, knowing that one, the arrogance of the former governor of Kaduna State, the unseriousness, with all due respect to him, of the former governor of Rivers State, Wike. Do you really think they will allow these ones? Because I don't see these sets of people as people that have come to do some. It's like a reward way. Let's pay them for what they've done. Do you think these advisors will be allowed to actually effect these things? This is the question I'm actually asking. Good morning, Prof.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm John Uzonjoku. Thank you, Professor Jodoku. Labour want to go on strike, let it go on strike. After all, the leadership Ganifa was initiated in terms of lawlessness, there is no need to delay our party. And I want to talk about the Mayfield, and I think the DSS erred by not allowing him freedom of bail as directed by the court. Disobedience to court order, that is what the action of DSS amounted to. And no wonder the court yesterday refused the request of DSS to detain a Mayfield for 14 days on the ground of lack of jurisdiction and abuse of corporation. No wonder Professor Niyo Shigari described Nigerian democracy as a mere pretense, gradually being willing to the mortuary instead of being killed. He said this in 2010. Ayo Padokun, a chief priest of Nateco, said we are an embarrassment to the black man in the world. Action of justice is a continuation of impunity. John Justice Manning, thank you.
All right, we have some reactions on Facebook.
All right, we'll take this from Balkis Onodiron says, first off, we don't anticipate Tinubu to select ministers from the opposition. They must come from his party, particularly those who gave him support. Meanwhile, Nigerians won't experience major improvement if we don't advance past Inyonwani, qualify or qualify. All right, sincerely, certain names ought not to have been on the ministerial list. Right.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, everyone in the studio.
Good morning.
This is John Olaraju from Agni. And the ministerial list, that is not a special thing or anything that will come as a surprise. We all know that those that work for the achievement of Mr. President from day one, talking about primary election down to the general election, definitely it must reward them. That's how the politics runs in the world, not only in Nigeria, even in the world. But the fact is that I don't really understand whether these people, I cannot say I do not know that. I know many of them. Every we knew him, Wiki we knew him, we know some of them, even our man here in your state, Adilabu, we knew him very well. So to me, whether we like it or not, those are the people that will be a minister for 4 years rather. And then for the Mr. President telling us to be patient, that's not a new message. He has been saying it they want. So whether we like it or not, Nigeria will continue patience for him. They have voted for him and he's going to use 4 years. But the patience is that in what angle, in what area do you want us to patience? That's the actual explanation that you need to tell us, whether on power or give food or whatever. He's just telling us patience. That's what to me. It's not a strange word, but tell us which area, which aspect do you want us to be patient. Thank you and good morning.
All right, thank you very much. Okeji Rababatune says, let NLC be aware that no work, no pay is now in place. You go on strike for even a day, you will not be paid. It is better to continue negotiations and wait. Okay, that message went away. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Genga Mario calling from Apata.
All right.
Well, on the ministerial list,
I can't believe my eyes seeing those names, and I wasn't surprised at all. What really pleased me that was that really compensated. It was based on, the nomination was based on political competition. That was it. That's all. It's just the game of watch my back while I rub your back. And the most painful part in that list is that this has been done, and there's virtually nothing anybody can do about it. And Tobani which is Taya and Kendi, so we can already preempt how the administration will run for the period of 4 years. And in the subsequent ministerial list, I wouldn't be surprised to see people like FFK, Senator Mikayode, Professor Keyamo, Gandhi, and the like. So nothing. The question is there any hope for Nigeria? What will be the hope of the common man? Thank you very much.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Denike. Well,
good morning.
When people complained about ministerial list, Eru is a Democrat that works with Obasanjo very well. He's also a politician. We take perform excellently in Rivers. Forget about his arrogancy. The majority of our leaders they have that arrogancy tendency. I don't know if Tinubu cannot pick me as his minister. The people that he knows that he can work with, he pick. Another problem is this. There is flood in Oyo State. The governor has not visited all these places. We don't vote for permanent, we vote for the governor. Governor should go and visit these people and condemn them. Have a nice time.
All right, thank you very much. Our number is 0705 5949 and 0809 7,949. In continuation with that Okediran Babatunde message, NLC and TUC will not be on the same page. It is divide and rule. The best form of palliative is prompt payment of salary and other benefits the government is owing. Up till now, federal government is yet to pay despite what Nigerians are passing through. Hello? Hello?
All right, you take this from Raji Afiz Abiola. Raja says, good morning, Denike and GBOLABO. On ministerial list, honestly, there is no surprise in the long-awaited list. But notwithstanding, some people have to occupy the seat. What the Nigerians is looking for or are looking for or up to is after their resumption to the office is the instant result in total turnover because no time to waste. God bless Nigeria.
Okediran Babatunde says, please call on the GSM to give autonomy to local governments so that they can be functional. Where are the trucks bought during Ajimobi's administration in all the local government in the state? All right, 0705 5949. It's about time to leave the studio. I think this is our final call. Hello. All right, Prof, any final, as we wrap up on the show, any final words?
Yes, I think people are expectant. They're waiting. I think they want the government.
Please hold that thought. Hello.
Yeah, Denike.
Good morning.
I've been saying this for a very long time.
What's your name, please?
For the people, all
right.
Let's see for the people to enjoy dividends of democracy. It's by government to give the autonomy to the local government. That is the truth of the matter. That is why we have councillor, we have chairman.
All right. Thank
we
you.
are appealing to the governor.
All right. All right, Prof, you were saying.
So I think people are expectant, a bit anxious, and they want the government to respond. And let's hope that very soon and very soon, this government responds to the yearnings, the aspirations of the people that they govern.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Oluwajedokun, for doing this with us this morning. And thank you, dear listener, for sticking around. And for those who watch us live on Facebook as well, my name is Adenike Ademoago.
And I'm GBOLABO, Famous School. Bye for now.